If you're like me and a beginner in Muay Thai and you want to come to Thailand and start training, then here's a few things I wish I knew before, and you could even look at it as a bit of a beginner's guide. I'm no expert on Muay Thai, but that is exactly why this will probably help you if you're a beginner. Because at the end of the day, if you want to come and learn and get better, there's no place better to learn it, in my opinion, than Thailand. I'm here in Koh Samui right now. I've been here just over a week, and in that time I've trialed 3 different gyms, and this is what prompted this video, because when I go to a new place I want to find the right gym for me that makes me feel comfortable, good, and helps me learn. I've been doing Muay Thai for cumulatively around about 6 months, so I'm still a beginner to it, but in the last 3 to 4 months I've been a hell of a lot more consistent and felt the improvements from that. Now when it comes to starting out and being a beginner in Muay Thai in Thailand, there are so many things I wish just someone said to me from the start, so hopefully this video can help you do that. Let's get moving, let's get started. The first thing, and probably the most important thing in my opinion, is finding the right gym. How do you do that? Well, you can look on forums, you can ask people that you know that have been here before, or you can just go and taste a few different gyms in an area and get the best feel for the place. One of the best things and one of the most important things to ask yourself too before you come is, what do you want from the trip? Is it just about fighting in Muay Thai, or do you want a holiday? Do you want to be in a nice place like this and be able to train at the same time? Because you could probably find somewhere low-key, plot up and get the best gym in the world or the best gym in Thailand, but be in a shit area. But equally, you could be in a very nice area, have a good enough gym and have a great time and have a great holiday at the same time. So weighing up the pros and cons of that will help you pick the best area, which will then narrow down the gyms, which will help you pick. I'll give you a few little things that I look for in a gym and that I've found have helped me the most improve and just enjoy my time here. I would want to know, is the gym friendly and is it catered for beginners? Some gyms will have a higher level as a base standard, in which case as a beginner it can be a little bit intimidating. I don't care who you are, you could be Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee and think you're tough as nails. If you go into a Muay Thai gym where people are fighting and they're very high level and you're a relative beginner and they're just so much more advanced than you and the vibe is different, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, you're gonna feel off, you're not gonna learn as much. And to be honest, they're probably gonna think, well, you're a bit out of place, you're gonna feel out of place, so it ain't gonna be the right connection for both parties. So finding a gym that is friendly and welcome for all levels is, in my opinion, one of the most important things that you can do. Some of the bigger gyms that cater for a lot of people will cater for beginners. You can look at their timetables. If they have beginner there or all levels, then they're going to cater for beginners. And again, asking around, finding different places or sussing out the vibe. You can walk into some gyms, I'll be honest, and it feels a little bit intimidating and then they're nice. Or you can walk in some gyms, they're friendly straight away, or you can walk in some gyms, it feels a bit cliquey, standoffish, and that never changes. For me, them gyms are not for me. Some people might not be bothered by that. They might just go, it's purely a transactional thing. You go, you train, you leave, you don't really care about the interactions or friendliness or feeling comfortable in there. I want to feel comfortable in there, I want to have a bit of fun, and I want to know that at the end of the day, everybody there is somewhat socializing, whether it be on a professional level or whether it be, oh yeah, all right mate, you're training too, want to go out, get a drink or go for some food, go for a run, go to the gym, whatever it is. Part of finding the right gym is finding the right coaches as well. And if you're doing privates, this is something to consider, is finding the right coach for you. You can test a few different coaches and find the right one, and you can see which feels right and book in a private, which is a great way to practice your skills, work on weaker areas, improve one specific thing, or just get a little bit more personal attention than what the classes will do. They're going to be a bit more expensive, but you're going to get that personal touch. A few ways you can work out which coach is right for you. Again, go in, test it. and just book a private, and just whichever one feels right for you after doing a few, stick with that one. Or you might get lucky and find the right one straight away. Or you can book classes, and then whichever coach in the class feels right for you and you gravitate towards and you like their style, you can then book in with them. That's what I've always done, is either go in, trial a coach that I've been recommended by speaking to someone, or I've gone in, done a class and been like, yeah, that guy seems cool, he's looking after me, he understands the level I'm at, he understands my weaker points, my stronger points, and I just feel like I can connect and vibe with the guy and they can help me improve. Classes will typically be an hour and a half or 2 hours long. In my opinion, they're more physically challenging because you do a lot more drills, you do a lot more fitness work, and right on time. That is the sound advertising Muay Thai fight. And that's what you're going to hear all around Thailand. She's got a fight on the 17th, 18th, 20th. In my very personal opinion, I think classes and privates serve as the perfect combo. Doing 1 to 2 privates a week and then 3 to 4 classes a week, I think is the perfect way, because you learn things in the privates and then you can go apply them in the classes. The classes quite often will have sparring, which the privates might lack. You might do a little bit of sparring with your coach, but that's one style. They're taking it easy on you, whereas if you go in a class, you're going against other people that are trying to improve, trying to sharpen their skills, and you're going to go against a variety of styles, and it's going to help you get better quicker, but in a practical fashion. Cost of a private is going to be anywhere from about 500 at the lower end up to 800 probably, or 1,000 baht on average, and then through up to about 1,500 to 2,000 baht for maybe a higher level trainer or a trainer at a much more popular gym. You're going to get weekly packages where you can pay and stay, and all gyms vary with that. You're going to get monthly packages, but generally that's how the pricing scheme works. There we go. So bigger gyms with the bigger following will quite often appear like the better gyms, but in my experience and speaking with many others, some very much more experienced guys than me that have had a few fights and that have lived here for many years, will say the bigger gyms generally are not always the best gyms. They are okay for beginners, but you can get lost in the numbers. If there's like 50, 60 people or 30, 40 people in a class, you can just get lost amongst the crowd. And yeah, you'll get a little bit of attention, but in the smaller gyms, quite often you'll get more attention, and it can be just more of a personal experience. This is a fucking ant's nest. I'm sat on an ant's nest. I am now the living embodiment of ants in your pants. Have a bush at this. It's like a colony. I don't know if you can see that. They're tiny, but ants all over. Anyway, let's move on. A few things you might not have considered that are going to help you. Number one, if you're coming from a cooler country, i.e. UK, or just not a tropical place, you will sweat a lot here. As you can see, I'm sweating, and in pretty much every one of my videos in Thailand, I am sweating, which means you will lose electrolytes, you will get dehydrated easier. So hydrating is super important, but not just with water, replenishing the electrolytes that you lose. You can get electrolytes in the shop in little sachets in like Royal D, they're called. Tear them off, pour them into a water, neck them after you train, during when you train, and they will help keep you hydrated and prevent you getting dehydrated. And getting a little bit of extra sodium sprinkled on your food, all very good ways to rehydrate, stay hydrated out here, and not get sick or get heat stroke or anything. Now, I'm not going to show you my toes, but for some reason, yeah, that will get me pulled off of YouTube if I show you the bottom of my toe. But for some reason, some people it doesn't affect as much as others. But my skin gets messed up on the bottom of my feet from the mats, which I know a lot of people do. I've got sensitive ass feet, like super sensitive feet, and I often have to tape up my toes to stop them getting blisters or getting cut. So being mindful of that and slowly building up your volume with your training, or if you notice you're getting blisters, tape up your toes or tape up your feet where you need to, so then it just stops that from happening. Buying training gear is often cheaper in Thailand, and they got good quality gear here, and there's plenty of shops around, especially if you're in Phuket, Samui, Bangkok, any of the major cities. Now, this next one applies for people coming out on fitness retreats or Muay Thai or anything. Going from 0 to hero and increasing your training volume overnight by masses is going to put a lot of stress on your body. If you're coming from not training at all back home to trying to train twice a day for 2 hours per session, some people might get away with it. I know some people can't. I can't. I literally cannot do it. My body breaks down if I try to. Going from 0 to hero is a quick way to get injured, dehydrated, possibly sick, if your body can't tolerate it. Listen to your body. And by the way, I've coached people with their health and fitness for nearly a decade. So that I do know a little bit about. A really good point on this that I nearly forgot to include or mention, but one of my good friends explained this to me, and I have experienced it, I just forgot about it. If you've never been to Thailand, there is a burning season where up in the north of Thailand and even Bangkok, the pollution will be higher and training in that environment is not nice. Have a look into the burning season where you're looking to train, and just consider whether you want to be training in that environment, because it can have some of the worst air quality in the whole world during that period of time. What I would say on that is the islands and the south of Thailand generally are going to be much less polluted and just better places to be during that period. So that's where I would train if that was the time of year where I was coming. If you are not planning on riding a scooter, then having your gym a little bit further away and needing to catch a taxi or grab or tuk-tuk or whatever means of getting there each day could be a little bit of friction and could make life a little bit more tricky. So just be mindful when you are booking somewhere. Are you going to ride a scooter? How far is it from you? And what do you plan to do? Do you just plan to stay at the gym and just be in that environment, or do you want to go out, explore, go on nights out, socialize, go and do things? Because them things will also dictate on where you want to train and also where you want to stay. Which brings me to the next point perfectly. I am in Koh Samui. Over there is Koh Phangan. No, over there is Koh Phangan. A great place to stay and train in Koh Samui. Same as Phuket, because you have the beaches, you have nature, you have loads of things to do, you have the nightlife, you won't get bored here. Have a think, is it a holiday and training, or is it just a train? Because for me, part of being in Thailand, especially long term, is I want to enjoy these parts like this: palm trees, beach, sand. Like, I want nice restaurants, I want some Western or home comforts, I want some beaches, nice weather. All of these things I do want. I'm not ashamed to say that. So having an environment where I can train and enjoy them things at the same time is important to me. Have a little think about that. Koh Samui and Phuket are probably the front runners for ticking all of them boxes for a beginner wanting to train Muay Thai and wanting to enjoy those parts of Thailand as well. Gyms can feel like an intimidating place when you first go in. I've been to 3 gyms just in the last week, and over the past couple of years been upwards of 10 plus gyms, and they can feel intimidating, which is why I think the vibe needs to feel good. But never have I felt intimidated once I get in there and start. I've had bad sessions, and I think some gyms are much better or much worse than others, and I've had experiences where I just think I'm not going back to that gym, it weren't right for me. But I wouldn't say that's ever been because any gym specific trainer or anything's made me feel super out of place. It's just not been the right fit for me, whether it's been my abilities, whether it's been the location, whether it's been the numbers in the class, whether it's been the quality of coach, whatever it is. I've had that, but I've never had anyone actually make me feel intimidated or out of place. Look, I've trained for nearly 12 years. I'm a lot slimmer than what I used to be. I used to be a unit. And I can tell you with complete confidence, muscle does not mean shit in Muay Thai. So drop the ego, don't feel intimidated, don't feel like you need to be the big dick. Go in there, accept that you are never going to be the best, but equally at some point you're not going to be the worst, and just try and get better, try and enjoy it. You get so much from it. Your body feels good from it. In my experience, it's one of the sports where I feel much better the more I do it. I feel looser, my body moves better, and if you combine it with lifting, normal training, or a bit of running, I think they just complement each other very, very well. In terms of sparring, you'll often get the choice whether you want to spar or not, and as soon as you feel comfortable or confident to, then I would say go for it. They will pair you up with someone at least a comparable level, and if they ever see a massive discrepancy between your abilities, they will almost always, unless they haven't seen it, come over and be like, bro, come here, you go with him, you go with them, or you go with her and you go with them, whatever. Nobody wants to see anyone get kicked the shit out of in the gym. It might feel like that, but that's not the case. And yeah, guys, I said I'm not an expert at this shit, but I think that's what makes it even more useful. I want to hear from people that are just experiencing things maybe just slightly ahead of me, or just having a little bit more experience than what I've got of something that I want to learn about. I'm hoping this video will do exactly that, because I have been there where I felt out of place, or felt intimidated, or felt like I wasn't good enough or whatever to learn something, when in reality the only way you get better at it is by being a beginner and just going and getting amongst it. Muay Thai is very welcoming, the Thais are very welcoming, they're very accommodating to all abilities, especially again in Koh Samui and Phuket, because they have so many people coming in and going and passing through just on holidays, so they're not expecting you to be around forever, which means they can kind of give you what you need when you need it at the pace you need it, which I think is a very good thing if you're coming over here just for a few weeks or a few months. Absolutely no doubt there'll be a few things I've missed in this, so please, if you think I've missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you want to add something, let me know down in the comments. If you've had a good or bad experience, let me know down in the comments. And as always, appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.